Hi, welcome to the Secret Men's Business Podcast. I'm Joey Busuttil, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about cancel culture. We're going to be looking at why is it that society has chosen to all of a sudden look at people in such a deep, subconscious, purposeful way. And in some way, we're actually judging them because we think that we know what they're doing. Well, within the 21st century, changes started to happen quite quickly. And if you look at change, it's not just coding or the ability to solve problems and lead to change much quicker with the use of AI or with robots. It's actually not even the weather or things around us changing rapidly, but more importantly, what's actually changing at a much faster rate is society. It's people. There is a quicker way for us to understand things and to, have insights and then want to pass on what we think in those moments. Gone are the days when we used to feel innocent and we used to allow ourselves to enjoy the freedom of life and the freedom of just being naive and being innocent. That innocence now has turned into much, much quicker knowledge. And when we look at things very openly, very sort of at a distance, we can understand that it's not just the pandemic that created a change in the world. Yes, it accelerated that change, but that change was sort of happening at a much faster rate before the pandemic even started. It only just sped up the process by, allowing everyone globally to be in the same place at the same time. So technology and the changes of ideas could take place in one space. But how come why is society changing at itself at a faster rate? Why is it that people feel the need to, say to one another what they think? Why is there a need to be critical or to, cancel someone in regards to the fact that they did something that we ourselves don't necessarily agree with or understand? For many, many young people, this can seem overwhelming. And I guess for many young people, this could also be a time when they end up being left behind. When we look at education and employment, there are generational challenges now that are being created, and those generational gaps are being part of that dialogue. We're sort of reimagining now the way that we see things and do things. And of course, there's going to be differing opinions and differing viewpoints on how that looks and where that leads us. Politics, corruption, acceleration of ideas, concepts, people getting away with things. It all seems to be happening at one time in this moment. And as we start to understand that there's no age limit in regards to the world becoming slower, because in reality, the world is just going to become faster, and it still is a place for us to have wonder and to experience and to experiment. I guess for us older people, like I'm in my 50s, when I look at the younger generation, I think to myself, are they going to deal with it? Are they going to cope? But in reality, they will, because this is what they're used to. This is what they know. For me, it's something I need to adapt to. So the speed of things seems to really, make an impact on me a lot more. It causes me to sometimes become angry. Sometimes it causes me to become perplexed, confused. Sometimes I become a little bit distant or unsure. But in all, it actually gets me to feel and to think about things. So this loss of ability needs to be, sort of reinforced to the children moving forward. It needs to be something that we allow that childhood curiosity to stay around. We need to allow children to have their imagination by learning new things. And this curiosity and rediscovery is what leads them to look at things differently. Through that transformation, they too may start to see the way that they communicate and the way that they respond to other humans may change as well. as it becomes more and more aggressive in the way that we deem cancel culture, it can become something that we have to think about changing rather than just accepting. I mean, cancel culture has something that has not surprised many people. Actually, it's been heavily influenced by influencers, heavily influenced by people that have got the know-how in social media. But once there is a mistake made, once something is done that is not to someone else's liking, there are very, very quick ways to cancel and shame that group or that person. Cancel culture has taken a quick route to toxicity now. What once was required, if someone did something bad, say, for example, Harvey Weinstein, then it is acceptable to cancel his movies because, in reflection, it doesn't actually show good cause to support the movies that the man had made after what he did. But now, as this cancel culture has grew and become more and more popular, it's now referring to anything or anyone. The term has in some way become a large span now of people, ranging from activists to politicians to everyday mums and dads. Today it's almost intrinsic that we have users now partaking in their own fair share of creating and viewing content. And so those people now are in some way or another caught up in the whole cancel culture etiquette. So in essence, almost everyone is capable of cancelling someone, and almost everyone is capable of being cancelled. And that's the difficult part of this. With such a large population of people on social media today, it's no surprise that there are large influences that consist of large portions of the content that's being created and viewed by us. But yet, do we really know what's going on at the back end? Do we really know that with the millions of people that are watching their movies and their quick to catch slogans and information pieces, is it really worth us knowing that their information, their background, their knowing is worth listening to? I guess cancel culture allows for people to stay accountable because of all the people on their internet site, they will really quickly be cancelled if they do something that's not appropriate. So these people are mainly there to hold people responsible for that hurtful actions or to cancel them if they've done something or said something hurtful or harmful. And these people are looking out to make sure that the person that's other than known doesn't get hurt in the wrong way. But how do we actually move forward? How do we allow ourselves to know that being cancelled doesn't necessarily make a change? How do we know that these apologies that come through this culture doesn't actually cause us to know that the person has learned anything new? So with this, there's also nothing more to learn about the issue. The immediate reaction to criticism now is just responding to an apology. Now, is an apology enough? Do we need to really understand that someone's mistake is enough for us to see their career, their livelihood, their whole life being put on hold? Does an apology not make it okay for us to forgive and forget and to let that person to move forward? It's important to note that as much time that we spend cancelling and waiting for the apologies to come through and then receiving those apologies, that we forget what the actual issue is all about in the first place. What people need to be focused on right now is who said what. And rather than moving on so quickly, to think about the harm that has caused. The existence of cancel culture is that cancel culture is supposed to inform us about an issue while it's in practice, while it's happening, while it's in front of us. But what's happening is that there's so much things being cancelled that we forget or we actually get caught up in other situations that cause us to think, what am I really cancelling? I think it's really important for us right now as a society, as a humanity, is just to note that there's so much time that's being spent cancelling things that we need to maybe focus a little bit on the humanity side of it and think about why that was harmful in the first place. The existence of cancel culture is that cancel culture is supposed to tell us more than we really know. And I think it's up to everyone individually to think about our own views rather than following a bigger trend, a bigger posse, or a bigger voice. So think about what cancel culture means to you. Think about what it does in regards to how you act and how you are with people. Think about how it pokes holes in many arguments and how it actually stops us from thinking logically in regards to how we can better ourselves. There is a difference between cancelling and calling someone out. There's a difference in regards to how we speak and what's appropriate. Inevitably, cancel culture is really a big part of our current society, and hopefully the right critiques and the right construct can help us change and see the world. Thanks for watching the Secret Men's Business podcast. Now, please try and subscribe. Hit the like button, subscribe so we can give you all the latest notifications to know when each podcast is out. Now, every Monday there's a new podcast, and on Thursday we're doing retro podcasts where you get to hear the old podcasts from the past. Okay, have a great week and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.